I am a friend here to tell you about the facts bothering the Russia-Ukraine conflict. On the 24th of February, Russia attacked the neighboring country of Ukraine without declaring war. Just like any ongoing military conflict, accurate and independently verified statistics are difficult to come by. As of the 3rd of March, the Russian army had already lost about 1,000 soldiers, 939 armored vehicles, 251 tanks, among others, during the invasion of Ukraine. 3 days later, Russia lost about 11,000 servicemen, about 40 aircraft, and 48 helicopters. Ukrainians did all this in 10 days. Officials in Kyiv also said some 2,000 Ukrainians died during the 8th day of shelling and airstrikes. Ukraine claimed the real Russian death toll was 20 times higher, with some 9,000 soldiers killed in action. Now here's the real gist. In the 1960s, the US invaded Cuba because Russia wanted to build a military base in Cuba, which brought about the Cuban Missile Crisis. Cuba is only a few miles away from the US, so why should NATO and US want to enter Ukraine and establish a military facility which shares a longer border with Russia? Today, the NATO and US are present in most parts of Europe, including Croatia, Poland, which are closer to Russia, which is in contravention to the 1997 NATO-Russia Act. This act is to the effect that Western countries should desist from the creation of military facilities in the territory of states which were not formally in the Soviet Union and are not members of the alliance NATO. Additionally, the NATO and US breached the 1990 treaty, which prevents them from expanding eastwards from then East Germany, whatever happened to the treaty. Getting into Ukraine, which borders Russia, remains an affront on Russia, and it means the NATO and US missiles can directly hit Russia at will. It's common knowledge that if NATO and US enter Ukraine and establish a military facility, Russia is in trouble. Putin is not stupid.
Now, let's get an insight of the recent activity of the US and NATO. First, Muammar Gaddafi, one of the most flamboyant and controversial leaders of last century, was killed by the US for no reason. Libya, a once peaceful and prosperous country, now has rules. Secondly, the US commenced a military action that led to the death of Saddam Hussein. The once beautiful and rich country of Iraq is now a shadow of itself, where a democratically established government, all because of American selfishness and desire to be in charge. Thirdly, the US and NATO invaded Syria, destroyed it, and almost overthrew Bashar al-Assad. It had not been for Russia. Syria is currently in ruins and is a platform for terrorists. Fourthly, these guys invaded the once peaceful Afghanistan after the Russians left. Today, Afghanistan is now a total mess. If the US and NATO are not checked, they'll dictate and change the government anywhere and anytime around the world.
Now, here's the most worrisome issue. NATO and US have started sending military logistics to Ukraine, which is dangerous. This in fact justifies Putin's claim that NATO and US want to enter into Ukraine so they can launch attacks on Russia. When this happens, Russia's launch allies like China, India, Syria, Iraq, North Korea will support Russia. And what could be next? Third World War. The truth is that Russia has its eyes on gathering all Soviet components back together. President Putin, in one of his recent press conferences, still doesn't even recognize Ukraine's sovereignty, and I'm pretty sure it's the same view holds for the other former Soviet nations.
It's good Ukraine is putting a strong resistance. If they don't, Russia might just capture the whole country, and when they are done, move to the next former Soviet nations. Let's not forget that in the Soviet era, Ukraine is the strongest and most important after Russia. Hence, their bully of country is very strategic. Russia also remains world power, and Westerners are not comfortable with their position. They have consistently tried to break them, but Putin is a hard nut to crack.
By the way, when users are separated, they signed an agreement not to join the Westerners. Imagine NATO and US coming to Ukraine to build military sites. Putin and have taken the best route so far. But trust me, he's simply standing for his country.